All right, the vehicle called to open. Like I said, they always do that open and close thing. Right, I want to show you guys that. So you're going to see a lot of that, particularly as the weather gets warmer too. So they'll use it as an excuse too, right? I mean, it's not that hot out here. It is like 70 something degrees. So but they do that whole open and close thing whenever. Then you start to see the New York Predator Department, or you see them, before or after. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that they will literally do things like that. And I talk about the many years, decades of them engaging in the criminal behavior, right? The illegal criminal stalking, the illegal surveillance, the criminal surveillance, to hide the fact that they're engaging in microchipping people and trying to silence us, right? This is how these tech elites operate, in using predatory law enforcement, right? And predatory law enforcement officers, predator police officers. And when you look at the amount of money that corporations have given police, particularly the New York Predator Department, it's in the hundreds of millions, all right? And so when we look at, for example, non-consensual experimentation committed by the US government, and we see that they use private institutions, right? Academia, the mental health department, the health department, and so forth, to conduct non-consensual human experimentation. This is nothing new, but you must know that history, right? If you don't know the history, you will think that it's new. And even when you know the history, you must also understand the intricate. Look, somebody put bread out here. Hilarious, all right? That's the strange shit that they do. Look, hand on the head. Do the same thing too. Look, do the same thing too. I'm biting my nails in my middle finger so you can see. You all right? Mirroring what it is that they do. Watch when you get close. Watch when you get close. They hit New York Predator Department. Yeah, you looking down at the sidewalk. Hilarious. But the word I'm trying to say is damn, I can't even say it. I can't say the word. Holy shit. But anyhow, but you have to know it in all of its characteristics, I would say, in terms of the non-consensual human experimentation, right? Intricacies. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm trying to say. Intricacy. And all of its intricacies. Anyhow, well, you guys heard me say. But anyhow, right? So you have to know it all, because look, coming out of here. Woman with the cane, just like I helped the woman with the cane now. Look. Looking at the tire. Hilarious, right? Hilarious. What you gonna try to do? Use that to, as I say, that my back is not seriously injured because I helped her down the stairs, right? Yeah, I told her too. I said, and I was actually holding on to the railing, right? So I said, don't put your weight on me because I have a bad back. So, but again, I want you to understand what it is that they do and how they do it, right? Okay? Now, you don't see me bending or anything like that because I'm a tall dude, so I know if I try to bend, I'll end up damaging her, actually hurting my back even more. So, yeah. But anyhow, I want to show you guys how they do these things, which is kind of ridiculous and hilarious. But, we'll see, right? Like I said, I confront them because I know exactly what it is that they do. All right? So that means that if you have a disability or an injury and you're on disability, that means you're supposed to lay in bed and not do anything, right? No, that does not mean that. That doesn't mean that you can't do any work. Like I'm doing laundry, And that means that when it comes to doing certain types of work, or housework, or, you know, if you can't do it, you can't do it. If you could do it, you do it in a way in which doesn't aggravate your injury. Or at least you do it in ways in which hopefully you will aggravate or hurt yourself even more, right? So again, when I talk about how I study the mindset of the racist Caucasians, particularly and also the racist Sambos and Sambinas, particularly the religious fanatics, right? Look. Look. The religious fanatics, right? The Sambos and the Sambinas, the Hispanipeans and the Negropeans, the Asiapeans, and their attempt to get away with their crimes against targeted individuals. It's not happening. All right, so let me tell you guys exactly what the subliminal message is. Where's she at? She's gone. So as I went to the dryer, she was walking past the the other exit of the laundromat. So I was hoping that she'd be out here again doing that, but they're not going to do that. All right. Then on top of that, there was a older Negropean female in the laundry staring at my clothes. Now, I talk about how they would steal certain items out of when I do the laundry, and I come back. They'll sometimes steal the socks, an underwear, you know, a tank top or what have you. You know, this is the criminality, all right, of what these people do, and they are emboldened because the criminals in the New York Predator Department, right, all the way up to the top, to its predator police officers, you know, separate from the NYPD. All right, I need to say that. I don't say it too often, you know, because sometimes when I'm in my moments where I'm just trying to expose what's being done, you know, I don't say that. But anyhow, like I said, if you're a good police officer, I'm not talking to you, okay? So you can ignore the fact and don't feel any way when I say the New York Predator Department is predator officers, okay? I make a separate distinction from the New York Police Department. All right. So anyhow, but yeah, so they will engage in those subliminal messages of theft, stealing my clothing item in the laundry, you know, to either try to force me to stay there. And again, you know, those chairs are very uncomfortable, right? So, and I have to go get my daughter later. You know, I wanted to do laundry yesterday, but by the time I got up and I said, you know, it's a Sunday, the laundry's probably gonna be crowded, so I'll do it today. But that's what they do. Look at him. Look at him. What are you looking up at? The window? So you see what he's doing? So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you guys why they're doing that. Whenever I use the bathroom or I put my pants on, they will use the car horn, right, or the sirens, right? The act of taking pulling on my pants, zipping my pants up and buckling it, you know, it is, you know, like I said, sometimes some of my target and what it is that they do has to deal with, you know, it's like a sexual nature thing, right? Like a sexual thing, all right? Because again, it's a false narrative, right? False narrative. They will try to make, you know, as a black man, we know how they're obsessed with our penis, and that's just the way it is. It's the truth, all right? They know that, as Dr. Francis Cress Wilson say, you know, they're afraid of white genetic annihilation. The black man penis, though. All right, she's showing me her belly. Look. All right? So, you know, they're upset with the black male penis. They will weaponize the black male penis, right? Because we, our parents, and their parents are ignorant to the fact that, you know, these white devils, okay? And I'm talking about the very racist ones that are in the laboratories, that wake up every day, plotting ways to destroy our nation, destroy our people, and yet our people seem to not want to understand the severity of what is being done. So how do they weaponize the black male penis and the black woman's vagina? All right, through creating hypersexuality, the weaponization of STDs, right, and then coupling it with economics. Then coupling it with economics. This is why you see black women today, I said not black women, but Negro women today, that if you have to talk to them, you gotta cash out them money. Right? If you gotta take them out on a date, you have to spend at least $500. Right? If you want to, it becomes transactional, prostitution. Right? That's what it is. So they no longer have to stand on the street corner. Right? You know what I'm saying? This is why you see, look at how they dress. Right? They dress like they're in the strip club. They dress like they're, supposed to be on the street corner. Right? These things have become so normal within Negro females that they teach the same thing to their daughters. And I keep saying, y'all are raising sons and daughters. What's going to happen to your sons and daughters when you're no longer here? All right? Because it's only going to get worse. When we have failed to recognize what's being done, as per Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Francis Cress Wesson, Dr. Ben, Yosef Ben Jacquemin, Dr. Clark, John Henry Clark, right? Dr. Finch, Dr. Charles Finch, and so forth, and many others, right? Who understood what is being done, right? The great Bobby Hemmett, all right? Dr. Phil Valentine's. I would consider them to be the last two consciously aware, I would say, I don't want to say messiahs, but their consciousness was more than anything else, anyone else at the time. I keep saying the only other person that I hear talk about radio wave, microwave frequency used to manipulate our minds is Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Phil Valentine's, and Dr. Ray Higgins. Anyhow, I'll talk to you guys next video.